What's up, everyone? It's Coach Ed here. Peace and blessings to you all. Thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to check out today's video. Today is going to be Coach Ed's preseason notes, on the game against the Patriots. So um, I'm going to give you a breakdown of, try and break down all the positional groups. Maybe I'll go over a particular player or two. I'll even talk a little bit about the coaches, and then in the end, give you an overall grade, give you my assessment of what I'm seeing, what I saw out there in the first game. Mind you, it is a preseason game, so a lot of stuff is going to be vanilla. I also don't, I'm not too critical, but, I feel I'm critical enough to address, some of the things that I saw out there on the field. Before we begin, if this is your first time, subscribe for me, like, share on all your social media platforms. I thank you guys, for always being there and supporting me. Continue to help me grow this channel, and hopefully make it one of the better ones that's out there. All right, so I'm going to start out with the coaches. One of the things that I haven't seen anyone talk about, if they did, I'm sorry, but I felt it was very good with the play calling, especially offensively. With Coach Kafka for his first time calling plays during the game, I thought he did a pretty good job. His calls were efficient and productive. As a whole, I thought the team was very well coached. They didn't seem unorganized or chaotic on the sideline. The coaches did a good job of coaching up the players. For Coach Dable, you can't lose that challenge. But seriously, offensively, to close out the game on that drive and set up a winning field goal, that was a very good start to your season, to the new regime, starting out. So with that, their overall grade, I gave them an A. Like I said, I was definitely pleased with what I saw out there, especially after the last couple of years of what we've seen. Next up, I'm going to talk about specifically Daniel Jones. When he was in the pocket, he did seem pretty comfortable to me. He was able to scan the field. He made some good, quick decisions. Also getting the ball out quickly initially. Even on that 3rd and 5, he made a good decision and ran for a good first down. When he was pressured, he wasn't as accurate, and he did seem a little frazzled to me. I do think he needs to also work his checkdowns a little bit more, especially on the intermediate yardage, 5 or less. Those are things that I think can help him a little bit more. Overall, I gave him a B minus. There are some things that he does need to clean up, but I know some people are not happy overall, especially 6 for 10, but he was in for 2 drives, and the left side of his offensive line was taken out due for injuries or other reasons. So I factored that into the equation. Next up, the rest of the quarterbacks. Tyra Tower, I thought, played a good game. He was quick in his decision making. For the most part, he was accurate, unless he got a little bit of pressure, but that's any quarterback. He was elusive in the pocket, and he escaped when he needed to. And he was a good reason why the second unit was productive when they were out there. Davis Webb, for me, he was uninspiring. He didn't create any turnovers. At times he did help move the ball a little bit. At other times he didn't. Now, between the two, I gave them a B minus. Tyra Tower, I gave an E minus, and Webb, I gave a C minus. Next up, I'm going to talk about Saquon Barkley. I did like the utilization of Barkley in both the running and the passing game, especially on that first drive. He did a good job of the one cut and go, so none of his normal dancing that he's done in the past. He made a great catch on that 3rd and 5 play to get the first down. I did see him try and help out a little bit with the pass blocking. I can also see how his usage is going to help the offense, even though this was a vanilla type of offensive play. But his usage, especially if he can stay healthy, will help the offense be very productive. So he's on that borderline A minus B plus line that I use sometimes. So that's right about where he is. The other running backs overall, their play was good. I didn't have any major concerns with them. All the backs ran hard and they were productive. It creates good competition in the backfield. So as they say, iron sharpens iron. So it's just going to help make the guys who are behind Barkley better. You didn't even have Breida in, so that definitely helped out. They even stepped in for the blitz pickup, so whenever they had to. I gave the highest grade at an A plus. I really did appreciate their play. So next, I want to talk about the offensive line. Overall, I did have them slightly above average. It was a good opening drive, 13 plays for 68 yards, to end up getting points, even if it is a field goal. So that's good, especially to start out. Evan Neal, I'm going to talk about him because he's the rookie. He, he had some good moments and some bad moments that I saw. One of the good moments was when he got out there on that Darius Slayton screen. I mean, for him to get down the field 10 plus yards to be able to block a defensive back as big as he is, that's a good thing. Now he does need to work more on his fundamentals. On that DJ's third down run, one of the things that I noticed, he was blocking the end, and he let the end just disregard him, and he just threw him to the ground like he was a rag doll. So he must work on staying on his feet. When Barkley got that in the first series, when he got that toss left, he didn't seal his man, and that's the man that made the backside tackle. So if he sealed him, there, maybe that's a bigger run because it looked like there was an opportunity for good alley right up in there. He also gave up the sack on DJ. Overall, the offensive line, they did allow pressures on all the quarterbacks, several quarterback hits. On the inside runs, there were several stalemates, at the line of scrimmage, or the defense did penetrate. The offensive line depth still concerns me, especially when, with several injuries that occurred based on last year. I actually gave them a C minus. Maybe you can push it to a B minus. I mean, I want to sit down and really look at the film a little bit more. Maybe that can push it up. If I look at individual players, I saw Feliciano get stalled a couple of times at the line of scrimmage. Douglas, he just like in practice, he was just manhandled at times. So, but again, I want to look at, all of it, and evaluate a little bit more, but based on my notes, that's where I'm grading it, about the C plus, maybe a B minus. Next, I want to talk about a receiver. Everyone's talked about him, Kenny Galliday. He didn't have a good job, especially for the perceived number one receiver. That critical third down drop, inside the Patriots 10-yard line, that play could have given us a first down, inside the 5, or even set up a 4th and short. So offensively, you can work on your short yardage to see the things that you need to work on there and get that on film. On this Slayton screen that I spoke about earlier, one of the things that I noticed is he went to block the defensive back, but he went almost direct line. He should have taken a different angle, giving Slayton the inside, because he knew Slayton was coming from the outside in. So you give him Slayton your back and attack that DB's top shoulder. That would have given him maybe a little bit better alley, and he only would have had, because you had Neal out there, you maybe only would have had one other player to to make a move on. So, maybe there was an opportunity to extend that play. He was also outplayed by Colin Johnson. I mean, they're both pretty much the same size, but Johnson was much more productive. He did make a catch, when DJ was rushed and was rolling left, and he did get into his view and make the play, but it didn't result in anything more, no first down or anything. But overall, I gave him a D minus. The wide receivers as a whole, they did play fairly well. Again, like outside of Galliday, they produced when they were given the opportunity. Not any significant drops. and that I have in my notes. Just one fumble by Colin Johnson. Richie James, he was always in the right place at the right time, especially on that deflected pass. Ran a good pattern to get open on that touchdown run. When he bent his pattern out, got the DB on his outside, and then whipped it back into the inside. Had a clean alley to score that touchdown, so that was a good play. Colin Johnson produced when the ball was thrown to him. Just a couple of plays, I saw when the ball was coming to him. He slipped. So if he stays on his feet, maybe he makes or extends a play, or who knows. Slayton, he produced on his jet sweep and the screen, so he was pretty productive. Das, missed 2 catchable plays. So without Galladay's grade, I gave them overall a B minus. The tight end play was non-existent. I did not like what I saw out of the tight ends, after, everything that was talked about. I think they only made 2 catches, and Daniel Bellinger even received a holding penalty on a critical play. So we need more production from the position other than them being out there to block. Atkins, as a veteran, he needed to capitalize on the opportunity, and he didn't. I can understand rookies, but not a vet like that. Overall, I gave them a D plus. So I'm looking for more play out of the tight ends. The defensive line edges, they were very productive. They held the running check. They did create some pressures. Tavon Thibodeau, he held his edge, had some good pressures. He did what he was supposed to do. Quincy Roche and Zimenez, they were effective. Roche getting a tackle for a loss. There are some plays that they need to, be cleaner on. Tibbs and Lawrence on one play, they ended up in the same gap on a pass rush. Maybe that's more than likely that's Lawrence, because you had McKinney on the outside coming. So if McKinney's on the outside, Tibbs is on the inside, then Lawrence, because there was a big hole in the A gap. So if Lawrence gets in there, that creates pressure. Davis and the rookie, there was one play that he had a pass rush, and for some reason I think he thought it was a screen, but it wasn't. They just looked him off, where if he keeps attacking the quarterback, maybe he disrupts the play. Overall, between the defensive line and the edges, I gave him a B plus. The linebackers were good. Both rookies produced when they were out there. Beavers, he had that great read and hit for the loss on the reception. He did have a missed tackle early in the game. So those are little things that he needs to clean up, but he was in the gap. So, he was in the right, playing his right assignment. So, he was right there. McFadden, good reads, flowed to the ball, made several good tackles. He was also decent in his pass coverage. Tate Crowder just had a missed tackle, but other than that, nothing significant other than the missed tackle. Great deflection and interception by Calitro, so that was a great play. So, the linebackers, I gave them a B plus. Your cornerbacks, that's extremely concerning for me. Jackson and Holmes, they played fine, for the most part. They were in the position to make plays. Holmes, he did get beat on a short out, but he did play the receiver's top shoulder to limit a big play. From there, it wasn't good. A-Rob, he was beating on back-to-back plays. We all saw that. With one of them being a long connection, the other one, he did, get his hands into the receiver's hands. So, he disrupted it. But he needs to do a better job on working on his techniques of flipping his hips, anticipating the receiver's potential move. And what I mean is based on the down and distance, depending, if it's, third and long, depending on what the call is, if you're pressing him towards to the boundary, make sure, you anticipate that. That'll allow you to get your hips flipped over, and you can be in proper phase. You can then squeeze the receiver to the sideline, and also get downfield, not only playing the receiver's hands, but also being able to feel and get your head around to make a play on the ball. Like I said, he does he does okay playing the receiver's job, so, he did all right there. Cordell Flott, was okay, but he was a rookie. He did play some on the outside, made a couple of plays, did get beat on a couple. The rest of the cornerbacks, to me, they played terribly. They were consistently beat off the line of scrimmage. They got flipped around like they didn't know which way they were going. They weren't in the proper positions all the time to make plays. Yes, they did make some plays and they made some tackles, but there were simple things that they cleaned up. They would have been in better position and they wouldn't have gotten beat as much. So for me, this is a great concern. But I trust Coach Henderson. I think he's going to do a good job in getting them coached up. But then again, if they don't, Shane will get them out here and get the proper guys in here. So overall, because of Jackson at home, I gave them a C. So but again, there's opportunities to improve. The safeties overall, they were good. They filled the run. They were in proper positions during the pass. Nothing stood out overall. In my notes that they got beat. They played aggressively, physically. The only one who did get beat a couple of times was Adams. But again, he's new, so that's why I didn't kill him on that. Corker, the rookie, I saw him miss one tackle, but overall I gave them a B. So, the safeties were fine. In terms of special teams, the kick coverage to me was not really good. They, excuse me, they do need to work on their lane assignments for their coverage. Making sure that they get into the lanes, squeeze it the right way. Press the boundary if the ball is kicked towards the sideline. Not allow bounce outs. They also need to do a good job of shedding the blocks. Because there were times that the returners did get into the alley real quickly. So if they do a better job of getting rid of the block, they can also make a better play on the returner and do a little bit better job of making a tackle on the plays. Kickoff return, we were okay. We did have some good returns, but we did call for a wedge blocking penalty that negated a return. But overall, the coverage I really didn't like, so I gave them a C minus. The returns, were, like I said, they were okay, so nothing too special. And again, that's a C minus. With the kickers, the field goals, kickoffs, good and accurate, good distance. Punts were high and good for distance. So I gave them an A. And overall, the team as a whole, I gave them a B. If that's from top to bottom. Like I said, there's a lot of things to clean up. There's some things that are concerning for me, but based on what I'm seeing with the coaching staff, I think that they're going to get guys in the right position and they're going to clean everything up. So, and I'm looking to see what type of improvement will we see in week 2, because, that's important, that they have to improve, and you're probably going to see more key players playing a little bit longer during the Bengals game. So, that's very important. That's how I anticipate everything to go. So that's really what I see and what I saw in terms of my notes. Hopefully I'll be able to get into the film and grade it a little bit more, as the week goes down. Maybe, identify certain players a little bit more and be a little bit more succinct in my coaching analysis. So, you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let you tell me what you think about my grading. If I'm off, if you agree, what your assessments are. And we can take it from there. So I really appreciate you guys again, taking the time to check out this video. I hope you like it. And like I said earlier, like, subscribe, share on all your social media platforms. Thanks everyone for all your support. I really appreciate you all. And as I always say in sports, make sure you turn it on and turn it up. Peace.